I'm Dorothy Polanda, Director of the Ohio Department of Agriculture, and I'm here in my garden this morning collecting tonight's dinner, onions and green beans. You know, working in my garden for the last several months has brought me tremendous satisfaction and peace. And it was the inspiration for a project that we have begun at the Department of Agriculture called Victory Gardens. Now, Victory Gardens is not new. It's a project that began in World War I to inspire amateur gardeners, families, to grow produce not only for themselves but for their community. And so the Department of Agriculture is pleased to announce our own Victory Garden project, whereby with contact your local extension office or our department, we can provide you with the tools and a kit to get your hands dirty and to join me in participating once again in a Victory Garden.
Hi, I'm Pam Bennett and I'm here in the Garden of Eaton in Springfield, Ohio, and we're going to talk about fall vegetable gardens. This is our Victory Garden, our modern day Victory Garden, and we're going to show you how to plant one of the fall crops, turnips. First thing to success in a good garden is to have good soil. Now, I'm fortunate here in our Garden of Eaton, we have great well-drained soil, and my volunteers were here last week and did a good job of getting things prepared. So we're going to start preparing the bed for the planting of the seeds. I love my hoe here. It's a triangle hoe, and it's one of my favorites because I can just go in and lightly loosen up that soil, prepare that row. Now, if you really like straight rows, you want to do some rope or some string or some twine. I'm not the person who really likes straight rows. Crooked things are okay for me. So I just kind of eyeball it from one end to the other and just loosen it up and get it ready to do my furrow for the seeds. Not everybody is as lucky as we are to have this rich, well-drained soil. This garden is kind of on a river bottom, so it's never been used. It's got great topsoil. If you have heavy compacted clay soil, there is an answer for you. Compost and organic matter is the best thing to add to your soil. That'll help improve the soil structure, help improve the drainage, and over time you can eventually get to this point where you have this beautiful well-drained soil. Now you notice our beds are about maybe 4 to 6 feet apart. If you're going to do a raised bed of some sort or even a bed like this, you want to make it so that you can at least reach to the middle and don't have to walk in the bed. Every time I walk in the garden, I'm compacting that soil. So to try to keep it nice and loose and well drained, try to stay out of the garden bed after you prepare it. You can have rows in your garden if you're going to do an in-ground garden, but just make sure you keep in those rows and try to stay out of where you're planting as much as possible. So we're going to plant turnips today, and this is perfect because you see the days to maturity is 55. That means we have about 55 days before we harvest, and because we're in the fall and they like cool temperatures, it's going to be perfect. In addition, the planting depth is about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and it tells you to space them after they start to grow, about 2 inches apart. So since these seeds are so tiny, there is no way that you're going to be able to plant one tiny little seed every 2 inches. So we plant them a little bit closer together. You just kind of sprinkle them in, and when you see them starting to grow, then you're going to start thinning them. So notice I took my glove off because these seeds are so tiny. If I have my glove on, I might not be able to do as fine motor skill planting as I want to. So you can do this either way. You can take and just sprinkle it, or you can take the entire packet and just kind of lightly shake them. Now remember, the seed packet said you should plant these 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch deep. That's not very deep, so you don't want to cover them with a lot of soil. We're just going to go in here and lightly take some soil, the soil that we kind of moved to the side, and we're just going to cover these up. You might miss a few, but that's okay. It's not going to be a big deal. Cover them up all the way down the row. And remember, after they germinate is when we're going to come back in and thin them every 2 to 4 inches. That allows the turnips then to grow and get a nice sized bulb on them. After you get everything planted, you kind of want to watch the weather. If we don't get a good shower in the next day or two, I'm going to come in here and water these. They're going to need rain or watering to get started. Sometimes in the fall or in the August part of the year when it gets really dry, you might not get enough water, so you may have to add water and pay attention to those seedlings when they come up. Don't forget, when they start to germinate, as they get a couple good true leaves on them, thin them out to every 2 to 4 inches. You got to keep ahead of weeds too, because we do have fall weeds such as some of our winter annuals, chickweed, and some of those are starting to come up too this time of the year. So take care of your weeds, water is needed, thin your turnips, and then in about 5 weeks, you'll start to enjoy really nice fresh turnips. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you participate in the Ohio Victory Garden Project, sponsored by OSU Extension and the Ohio Department of Agriculture. Don't forget to go to our website for more information, u.osu.edu/Ohio Victory Gardens. Enjoy your produce.